Hello, all you artistic drywallers out there in drywall land, and welcome to a pilgrimage episode of the Drywall Podcast. I am your host once again, Nick Harmon. With us today, all the way from Highland, Utah, we welcome Justin Thomas of Thomas Drywall to the show for his first appearance. Justin and I met because he happened to catch me on a little podcast called The Aggregate, hosted by my good friend Jeremy Mistretta. He reached out because he was interested in Fresco Harmony, and we blabbed for like 2 hours. He is a great guy to talk to about specialty finishes. Justin is a third-generation drywall finisher with a degree in business, which enabled him to build a very successful drywall company, but found himself pivoting to software sales when the economy took a dive.
Okay, so had my company going. It was great. We were doing very well. 50 plus employees all over the state of Utah. But then the economy, took a nosedive, early 2000s. And I was in business at that point. I was able to kind of weather that storm for a while because I had government contracts. But probably around 2012, things in Utah still weren't getting better. So I made this crazy pivot out of drywall, which I think I mentioned to you. So I shut my company down. Well, then officially shut it down. I pivoted into tech sales. So I was working here in Utah. We have a lot of tech companies that all over the state of Utah. So I started working for a tech company, but actually in the background still ran my drywall company. So here I was, W-2 employee selling software to large companies like L'Oreal and Yamaha and these, huge Fortune 500 companies. I was selling, tech software to them. But in the background I was still a drywaller by night and a tech guy by the day.
Justin and I do a little bit of a dive into the Mormon religion, but we also discuss the complications of growing a business that's too big. And of course, the possibility of Fresco Harmony into the drywall finishing process. It's a great show. Trust me. I would also like to give a shout out to our sponsor for the month of March on the Drywall Podcast, Can-Am Tools. They doubled down in the month of March, and we couldn't be happier about that. Not only that, they are launching a barrage of new tools that you will have a chance to win. Okay. The original inventor of the semi-automatic drywall and finishing tools are coming back. Whether you are a hand finisher ready to level up or a machine taper looking for tools that make the tough spots a little easier, Can-Am has been solving that problem longer than anyone else on the planet. They're also looking for dealers across the U.S. that want to carry a proven Canadian brand with 50 years behind it. If you're interested, you can check them out at canamtool.com. For this month's giveaway, Can-Am is doing something a little special. This one's for all you lazy asses who didn't enter last month. Can-Am and the Drywall Podcast is giving you another chance to win. Hey Nick, what could I win if I enter the contest? Well, I'm glad you asked. First up, and backed by popular demand, is the 32-inch applicator tube with extendable handle. Second place, Gold Core inside corner roller, still unreleased. And third place, we're introducing the outside corner applicator, also unreleased. And I need to get my hands on that baby. Can-Am wants to extend this prize offer to all the Drywall Podcast listeners far and wide, because that's just how they roll. Given that Can-Am tools are trusted by pros around the world, they feel it's a great way to acknowledge the international community, and so do I. All you have to do is email me your full name an address to info@frescoharmony.com and you're in. It's just that easy. Also, be sure to check out my interview with Wolfgang Dombrowski, owner of Can-Am Tools, episode 44. It's a good episode, and I think you will learn a lot if you listen. But for now, we have my newest good friend in the drywall industry, Justin Thomas, out of Highland, Utah. Thomas Drywall on the 166th episode of the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it. Justin runs his own business, Thomas Drywall. Justin Thomas out of Highland, Utah. Originally, you said Provo. Is that close to Highland?
Yeah, I'll say sometimes Provo or Salt Lake City because Highland's more of a suburb. So
Now let me ask you this, because you're from Utah, are you a Mormon?
yes, sir.
Okay. Because there's a lot of Mormons there. What is that? What's the big college there?
There's like the community one. I think they call it Salt Lake Community College.
No, it's not that one. It's the big one.
Oh, is she at University of Utah, the big one?
Yeah, UT.
Okay.
That's it.
Very cool.
Okay, so which podcasts other than the drywall? We're jumping around here a little bit early on. We got to reel it in. We're gonna reel it in. Which other podcasts do you listen to? Just out of curiosity, top 3, go.
Yeah, so I'd say the Drywall Podcast.
Beautiful.
Aggregate, like we were talking about. And I really like the Andrew Huberman.
Okay, Huberman.
Pretty good.
Cool. Okay, let's back up to your relationship with Jeremy Mistretta of the Aggregate. So, if you haven't heard my interview with Jeremy Mistretta, so he has a product called, or a company called New Age Artisan.
Yeah.
And Justin is rocking the New Age Artisan hoodie, which is a comfortable hoodie. I just wore it all over up in Colorado. I like him. He has a product, a Tadillac type product, but he makes many different plaster type products. And he has a podcast called The Aggregate. And I was on. I had Jeremy Mistretta on the Drywall Podcast, and Jeremy was kind enough to return the favor and have me on his podcast. So Justin happened to hear that podcast and reached out to me. But even prior to that, how did you find out about Jeremy Mistretta and New Age Artisans and all that stuff? Were you wanting to do plaster? He's close to you.
Yeah, so we'll have to jump away in the future here.
Okay, that's all right.
And then we'll have to go back to my start. But
yeah, we'll go back.
Little preview, I suppose. I had decided to get into plaster for a number of different reasons, and we can talk about that, why and how that happened. But
sure. And just for clarification for our listeners, Justin is a drywaller.
Yes,
he runs a drywall company. But we're gonna jump. We're gonna bounce into plaster a little bit.
Yeah, we'll jump into that. So I was interested in plaster. Started doing a little bit of research. Came across New Age Artisans. They do clinics.
Wait, is it artisan or artesian?
New Age Artisans.
Okay, all right. I guess you could say it either way.
Yeah, I guess it can be pronounced either way.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry, Jeremy. But yes, so I had done some research, came across him, and he does, as you mentioned, a Tadillac course. So for those who don't know what Tadillac is, it's a type of plaster that, done correctly, you can do it in water type environments, as in showers. And so I delve into that. I actually went to one of his courses that he does occasionally in Bozeman, Montana, which is, like you said, not that far from me, about a 6 or 7 hour drive.
Okay.
Spent 3 days with him up there, learned how to do the Cadillac, and then also he taught us how to use his traditional lime plaster as well. So that's how I met Jeremy. And then, as you mentioned, you had done a podcast with him. Interesting.
What was your curiosity with the plaster, real quick? Why were you wanted to diversify?
Diversify, but also my grandfather was originally a plasterer.
Okay.
So I'm third generation drywall slash plaster contractor. So I decided that I wanted to kind of expand, as you mentioned, do a different offering with plaster. It made sense given my history or my family's history in plaster.
Why didn't the old man teach you how to do some plaster, or your grandfather?
So the old man, my dad, was primarily a drywall contractor.
Okay.
We do a little bit of plaster, but at that time, the money was more in the sheetrock in the drywall aspect. So my grandfather was still doing plaster at that time, but my dad had done drywall on his own. Had split off from his. It was just where the money was in
Yeah.
the time. There wasn't. It was more functional back then. Now it's more artistic, and you have accent walls. That wasn't really a thing back then. That's why we didn't. I mean, we did a bit of plastering, kind of our own version, where we do the. I think USG has a product called Diamond Coat. We do that.
Yep.
We would take sand and dump it in our mud and try to make a plaster, and then we'd have to paint it, which I think is what's super cool about Fresco Harmony is you've done what we were trying to attempt back then. You know, we were trying to make a
Yeah.
plaster out of drywall mud, but it didn't have
Yeah.
a so you just still have to paint it.
Yeah.
So we did dive into that, but we were primarily a drywall company back then.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then just for clarification too, and we may have covered it. You heard my episode with Jeremy and got curious about Fresco, and then reached out to me just to round out
Right.
our introduction and how you and I know each other. We started talking. You've gotten some Fresco. You've gotten to play with it a little bit, and we'll talk about that as well. Okay. Did you work for your father? Is that was that and what about college? Any
Yeah.
college?
So let's rewind the tape a little bit. My grandfather was, I guess, kind of the start of where my drywall and plaster began.
Okay.
So he served in World War II, and when he came back, he was from a really small town called Beaver, Utah, which is probably why you'll see the on my hawk the sticker says "I heart Beaver." That's
Okay.
playing on the fact that my grandfather was from Beaver, Utah. Anyway, he went to California for work because there was just no work in where he was at. So he started plastering in California, came back to Utah, and they would do the old lath and plaster. They used to also do the plaster on the exterior of the buildings, you know, the foundation plaster and
Whoa.
so
Okay.
like really hardcore stuff. And then my father and his brother came into the picture probably in the mid 50s, 60s. And then they would work with their dad doing plaster. They started to do sheetrock at that point with him. And then where the market went, it seemed that the drywall became more of a profitable industry. So my father and his brother formed a company called Thomas Brothers Drywall, probably early 70s, and started mainly doing, you know, drywall kind of all over the state of Utah. Uh, Primarily, they did, you know, custom homes, track homes, those kinds of things. And then they would delve a little bit into plaster as well. They did the old acoustical ceilings where you dump glitter in the acoustical ceiling, the pop
Beautiful.
things. They did those. Um, so that's where I guess the drywall or the sheetrock came into play. Um, they originally started off just doing, hand finishing. They didn't use any automatic taping tools, nothing from Tape Tech or anything like
Yeah.
that. But then my dad, I think he saw some Tape Tech tools, so he flew a guy out from California, said, "Look, teach me how to run the bazooka and those type of tools." So
Really?
yeah, so he hired
That's
this
cool.
guy he could see that was going to be a faster, more efficient way to get this stuff done.
Ooh.
So he paid this guy. Uh, they were mainly renting from Ames. They didn't really own the tools. They just found it was easier to
Yeah.
for maintenance purposes.
Yeah.
So then probably mid 80s, I came into the picture. Very young. In fact, I don't really ever remember not knowing how to do drywall. I think from birth, I was brought on the job sites. So I would work the summers because I was in school, I went to college, those kinds of things. But
Sure.
he would have me work on the job site all summer long. We did a lot of jobs out of town. We did jobs in California. We were down there for like the entire summer, so that was
Do
pretty.
you remember what you were doing?
Yeah, so I started, it's funny. I started off basically mixing mud, hauling mud around, kind of because I was young, right?
Yeah.
Was very, very young. So I could only mix mud and spot nails. But my dad would have me mix mud with the stomper. I remember one day seeing a drill with the whip on it. And I thought, why are we not using that? And he was like,
Just to
nope.
mess with you? Just to
I
mess with you?
think so, just to like build muscles or build endurance or something. So I would
That's
like
awesome.
churn butter all day long, mixing mud. And imagine mixing it down to taping mud with the
Yeah.
stomp. Like it
Well,
pretty
I
difficult.
when I worked, I moved from Oregon down to Arizona. And
Okay.
when I got down to Arizona, I started doing piecework.
Oh,
And
nice.
they in Sierra Vista, Arizona, they never had power on the jobs, and everyone mixed
Oh,
with a stomper. I mixed hundreds of buckets with a stomper.
okay. So you know.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I know how stupid it is.
It is, well, yeah. And I remember one day I saw it and I thought, why are we not using this? So I finally got him to give me a drill with the whip.
That'll be better.
Yeah, it's awesome. You got to have that going.
Heat up the coffee, and then the interview is also heating up.
All right.
So
So
wait a second, wait a second. Mormons do not do caffeine, correct?
incorrect. We don't do coffee, but we do caffeine.
You do caffeine. Why not coffee?
It's just
Talk to me, man. We're on the we can it's a free
we're
zone.
going
It's
there. All right.
shame free zone here. No, well, I've had a couple of Jehovah's Witnesses on the show, and not to mention the Christians. Like we'll get into it with the Christians too. I'm curious about religion. I think it's interesting.
Okay.
And I'm always willing to go there as far as somebody's willing to go
Yeah.
there. No shame.
Okay. That's fair enough. I appreciate it. Yeah. So we're
Yeah.
Christians. Coffee is, or
So
the,
wait, Mormons are Christians.
yes, sir. Mormons are
Just
Christians.
out of the gate. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, Mormons, the real name of the church is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints
Okay.
is the name. So we are
Do
Christian.
you believe that Jesus was the Son of God?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
All
Yeah.
right.
Anyway, part of our religion is the word of wisdom, which is, we don't drink alcohol, no illicit drugs, those sorts of things.
Well, that's delicate. Illicit drugs.
But we
There's a
do,
lot of gray areas there.
there are a lot of gray areas. So if it's prescribed, say by, if cannabis is prescribed by a
Okay.
physician for issues, then that's totally fine.
Okay.
And coffee, it's not necessarily the caffeine really.
Okay.
It really kind of comes down to a personal view too, right?
Okay.
I believe there's kind of gray areas in that too.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I guess as the rule is stated, it's no coffee or black tea. So like,
Just okay, out of curiosity, why? How come no, as it pertains to to the religion? How come no? How come no like black tea or coffee?
it's just I mean, there's like maybe research around it, but it's not really from research. It's more of a, I guess you could say, commandment. So it could be,
Okay,
you don't do these things, but you can
sure.
do these things. And so
Okay,
they haven't come out and said no, caffeine, no caffeinated beverages, no, those sorts of.
it's suggested.
Yes. So I
The,
mean, it is a commandment,
it's a commandment.
but yeah, it's no to certain things and yes to other things.
Okay.
So,
Percentage of practicing Mormons that don't drink coffee or black tea. Go.
you know, I would say at this point, uh, I mean, there's a lot of coffee shops in Utah that have
Of
very long
course. Yeah.
lines. So, I,
You know what they need to open? They need to open like a secret coffee shop where like Mormon practicing Mormons that don't want anyone to know they're drinking coffee can sneak in.
yeah.
That
So
might be successful.
they have, yeah, they have in Utah. I don't know if they have these down in Albuquerque, but they have these things called like some of the names are like Swig or Quench, and they are soda shops. So you go in and you can
Okay.
get like your mixing. So you get your Diet Coke with your lime and coconut, and they have all these mixtures, kind of like if you were to go to like Starbucks and say, I want this special, Starbucks drink. There's
Sure.
the soda version of that. And these businesses in Utah are absolutely killing it. They're all over the place.
And
Lines of
no caffeine though.
no, oh no,
They do have caffeine.
they
They're
have
just
yeah, just no, well, I think some of them actually do the coffee there, but
yeah, people non-practicing Mormons will
yeah,
walk in there, they want a coffee.
they
They're
want
gonna, yeah,
coffee.
all
But
right.
the soda is killing it. So it's kind of
Crazy. Huh.
yeah,
That's interesting. All
that
right.
and cookies, man. Those two things here in Utah.
Yeah. You have crumble cookie there?
Yeah, I think it's where it started was here.
Those crumble cookies, I've had them. You really shouldn't eat them though. They're so much sugar. They're
They're not
not.
very healthy for you,
They're
for
horrible.
sure.
Yeah, they're really bad. But I have had them. They're delicious. Probably because they just have a bucket of sugar in them.
Yeah.
Very cool. Anything else about, because I'm curious about the Mormon religion a little bit. Any other unique rules that maybe other religions don't have that Mormons have? Um,
Unique rules. I mean, we're Christians, so it's, do good unto others, those
okay.
kinds of things. I wouldn't say there's any outside of probably things like the word of wisdom that set us apart
Okay.
from others, but we do the missions,
Yes.
those you've probably seen the Book of
Did
Mormon.
you do mission?
I did, yeah.
You
So I
did?
lived
Okay.
in London. I lived in England for 2 years. Um,
Very cool. And also a lot of our New Zealanders. So the New Zealander episode with Manners that drops. They go in New Zealand and Australia, they go to England on a year or two to work
Kind of
and
like a pilgrimage or
like a
something.
pilgrimage. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
I talk about it with two of the Kiwis,
interesting.
which is New Zealanders are called Kiwis, that I've had on the show. Brad McKinnon's another one. Great episode if you want to catch that one.
Yeah, I don't
Fair,
know if I didn't catch I haven't caught the
yeah,
key one.
yeah, fairly recent. And then you can go follow all of these people that have been on the Drywall podcast. Brad's got a ton of followers.
Okay,
Fantastic finisher out of New Zealand.
very interesting.
Last question about Mormonism, then we'll go on, and we might come back to it. The person on the top of the Mormon temple, is it called a temple?
Yeah, temples.
What does that signify? Because I know they point a certain direction. And
Yeah,
is it a horn?
it's a horn. It's called
Okay.
the item that's up there. It is an angel. It's called the angel
Okay.
Moroni, and it is a horn.
It's called Angel what?
Angel Moroni is who
Moroni.
on top, and
What do they, is it a he or a she? What do
it's
they
a
signify?
he, and he's from he's an individual that's in we believe in a book of scripture called the Book of Mormon.
Okay.
Uh, and he comes into play kind of at the end of the Book of Mormon. So
Okay.
he's one of the last prophets, one of the last writers, one of the last authors in the
Okay.
Book of Mormon.
Okay.
He's it's him that's on top of the temples.
Okay. And what does that signify? The direction in both the
I
horn.
I'm not totally. I think it's pointed north. It has something to do with, Christ is going to come out of the north or something, or maybe the east
Okay.
or the west. I don't know actually. Like what direction or why. It has something to do with that,
Okay.
you know, where
It's
Christ is.
always curious to me because I've driven through Salt Lake and you see the temples and you see this figure on top of
Yeah.
and that's always
Interestingly, though, he's not
they're
on.
consistent with each temple
They
has one.
are, but not all of them have it for various reasons. Like I think the one in New York, well, the one in New York has it, but not all of them have that on top of there. But I'd
Okay.
say probably 80, 90% of them do have. And like you said, the Salt Lake Temple has that on there. Sure,
We
okay.
diverted. You
Yeah, where I came in.
mid 80s, you're spotting screws and you're mixing mud with a stomper of all things. And you finally you see like one of your coworkers is like using a drill and you're
Yeah.
like, "Hey dad, can I mix it that way?"
Yeah. Me like, okay, fine. You can use the drill. Uh,
The boy figured it out.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is funny.
Pretty funny. So then he had me running boxes, angle boxes, rollers, like
Okay.
wiping tape. And those are, I think, pretty easy to learn very early on.
And you're
So
still running tape tech at this point. Are they renting or do they have sets of tape tech by this point?
at that point, they were still renting from Ames. We would
Crazy.
rent a ton of.
Your dad liked to rent because of the maintenance factor.
Right. It was just if they weren't working properly, he was like, nope, I don't want to deal with fixing the tube, and he'd just take it back. And we had multiple sets of tools that we were renting because there were
Yeah.
like 5 or 6 crews that were working with us at that time.
Would your company get, or this was still Thomas Brothers,
hmm
would your company get a discount renting multiple sets? Do you know?
I don't know if he did or not. I would assume, but
I wonder if large outfits get like deals on renting tools. You have your own tools now, but you're still using Tape Tech.
I still am using Tape Tech. I don't have my own tools because the guys that work for me have their own tools.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
tape anymore. Um,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
You've
They,
graduated. You've graduated. We're not there yet.
yeah.
You graduated from having your hands on the tools to
Yeah.
being
I don't
in
have
the
shoulders.
office.
Yeah. I don't have shoulders anymore. Let's just,
We were talking to Justin from Colorado, and he's like, I'm at the job here. I have nothing to do. My guys are in there working away, they're slaving away, and I'm out here making Fresco Harmony samples. We're like having this guy. I got nothing else. I'm bored. I'm bored, so I'm making some Fresco
yeah.
samples. I'm like, dude,
Awesome.
he's doing something right. That guy is, well, he's making Fresco samples, so that's smart, but he's not on the wall. Like,
I'm
that's
not
smart.
running tools. Yeah.
All
Um,
right. So you go to college.
yeah. So I went on a mission from my church, came back and went to college.
Oh
And
yeah, London. Should we
London.
talk? Is there anything to talk about in London?
Super cool experience. I keep in touch with
Yeah.
people there still
And
to this
you
day.
live in London while you're on a pilgrimage there.
Yeah.
I
So
assume you're with a friend.
Yeah, you're assigned a like a companion,
Yeah.
like a work friend, and you stay with that person for a few months, and then they change it out. You don't stay with that one person the whole time. That would be insane. So,
Okay, because I was gonna say that's intense.
oh,
Because
that would be.
what if you don't like a person?
Well, yeah, see, that's the problem. Like it can
Yeah.
be a problem anyway. So they swap you
Yeah.
out every few months. They also move you from area to area. So I was all over the south of London. So I was in London and then all over kind
Cool.
of the southern part of England.
How's the Mormon population in London? Was it slim pickings, or was it is that a challenging place to do a mission?
The church actually had its early roots in England. So it didn't
Okay.
start in England, but it started in North America. But missionaries went to England very early in the history
Okay.
of the church.
Okay.
So a lot of our early church members came, that's where my heritage came from. My grandfather moved here to Utah from, my great grandfather moved here from Birmingham, England.
All
So,
right.
but yeah, so there's, I think a fair amount of members there. I mean, not
Okay.
like here in Utah,
Right.
but there's definitely kind of a heritage with
Utah, you would say Utah is like the global epicenter. Yeah.
it is. The headquarters is in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
And then depending on where in Utah you live, the concentration can be pretty high. In Salt Lake, it
Sure.
can be 50%, but
Who sits at the top of the heap in of all of it? Is there one person, and
yeah,
then
so we have
kind of like Catholicism, where you have like sort of tiers going down?
right. So you have who would be the president of the church. We also
Okay.
refer to him as a prophet.
Okay.
Um, his name is Dallin H. Oaks. He's the sitting president right now.
Crazy. How old is this person?
I think he's upper 80s, probably.
Okay, yeah. So generally somebody pretty old.
Yeah, so he just replaced President Nelson fairly recently, who made it to 101. Isn't that crazy? He was a heart surgeon prior to him being in
Oh, wow.
of the church.
Okay.
And
And then it sort of goes down from there. You have different
yeah,
maybe.
when they're appointed, it's much like Catholicism, where they're appointed that office, they stay in that till death, and
Sure.
then it's very similar. There's uh,
Sure.
people in the church where they're executives in the church, and they roll up to the next to the next level.
Okay. Okay. Very cool. Okay. So, college. You don't do that in London. You come back.
Yeah, I come back. I enroll in college here, still doing drywall for my dad at that point. So now I'm not.
What'd you study in college?
I started off in photography, but then I discovered
Nice.
I wasn't going to make a lot of money in the type of photography I wanted to do, which was more like adventure photography. So
Okay. Like National Geo.
that kind of stuff. And remember, this is like early 90s. So the internet, Instagram, those kind of things weren't really a thing yet. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like a profitable field. I believe now if
Yeah.
it's much more profitable.
Well, competitive. It's an artistic
Competitive.
market. Very competitive. Yeah.
So
Well,
then
now you can just be like, "Hey, AI, I want a picture of a cheetah."
that's the problem. Those guys, their work is, yeah. I want a picture of a guy on a glacier in
Yeah.
Alaska wearing this
Yeah.
puffy jacket, and boom, you
Yep.
have it. So,
Done.
but
But still, I think photography is it's a good thing to know.
yeah,
And it's pretty cool. Aperture settings. I open up my phone and I'm like 60 DPI. What does that mean? What should I use HD or should I use 4K? What's
yeah,
better? Like
it's
those,
it's helpful to know and how to frame a picture and so forth.
yeah,
But I did ended up going towards business management is what I ended up getting my degree in because I knew at some point I wanted
smart.
to own a business. I didn't at that point I had no intention of owning a drywall business per se, but I said, look, I'm going to move to business management. So that's what I ended up getting my degree in.
It is funny that you ended up in drywall. I
It's
mean, you were reluctant, I imagine. You're like, I'm not gonna do what my dad did. I'm gonna go seek my fortune
Yeah,
elsewhere.
I had zero desire to do drywall. I mean, I was,
Common. That's
yeah.
a common thread on the Drywall Podcast.
That was not what I wanted to do at all. My father, I think for him, he didn't want to do it. He had a master's degree in
Okay.
education and was going to go that route and then ended up in drywall. So, uh,
Crazy.
but I'm better for it in a sense, having an education. I think it does help.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary. And my views on education now are different. I feel like if you have a vocation you want to go into that requires like a degree, then it's great. But you should not go to college just to go to college. I think that's a waste.
Yes. Business, I wish I knew more about business, especially with the product stuff and all of that. There's always lots to know. I just wasn't good at college. So I was good at soccer, but
Mhm.
you
I
know,
I
the
can't say I
two
was a very good student
went
either.
hand in hand, and it was just like I had to go to college to play soccer, and it was sort of unfair
Yeah,
to go that route. Like I should have went to England and like played and tried to seek
try to go
seek
that
my
route.
yeah,
Yeah.
go that route. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wasn't the greatest student either. To be fair, I
yeah,
graduated from college, but I didn't enjoy school. I found it
right.
hard
It's
and
tough.
boring. Mhm.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
But you graduated with a business degree. You had a bachelor's in business, I imagine. Yeah.
a bachelor's in business. Yep, I thought at one point about getting my MBA, but I thought, why? It's not going
Yeah.
to help in any sense that of what I'm
Well,
doing.
probably by that time you're running a drywall company.
By that time, so around early 2000, I went to my dad and I said, "Look, I want in on this business. I had graduated from college.
There you go.
Where's my spot here?" And he
He
said, "Look,
said, go back and start stomping, stomp me a bucket
yeah,
of mud,
go
boy.
mix more mud for me, son." So I said, "Look, I want in on this." And he said, "Look, I have a partner already. My brother. We have
Yeah.
enough chiefs. We don't. We don't need any more bosses." And so
Right.
I said, "Okay, understood." So I
Cool.
started my own company at that
That's
point.
rowdy. Your dad was like, no.
No, go do your own thing, son. I did. You go do your own thing. And I said, okay.
Typical drywaller. Typical
Yeah.
dry. I know you're
Yep.
my son, but we're good over here.
But we're good. You go start your own business.
If
So
you're like, okay, asshole, I'm gonna be the worst competitor you've ever had. I'm joking.
yep.
I'm
Yeah.
joking. I don't know your dad. He's probably a nice guy. It was
He's
probably it was probably the best thing he could have done for you, really.
he was solid for sure. He knew exactly what he's doing. He's passed away now. He's been gone
Okay.
for 13 years, but he knew exactly what he was doing. So it
Yeah.
was it was a good move.
What about the uncle? Is the uncle still rolling with Thomas Brothers?
So my uncle still is here. He's gotten kind of older now, so I don't think he's really doing much with the business. His son, who's my cousin, is
Yep.
from what I understand, is still out there doing what's I guess still Thomas Brothers Drywall, but it's not really a brother. It's just
Sure.
him, but he's stuck with the name.
Okay.
So my company, I call
And
it.
you guys probably have big families, yeah? Lots of siblings?
Not really. I mean,
Not crazy.
that is a
Okay.
thing here, but I mean, I'm one of three.
Okay,
Uh,
that's not bad.
So, and I have four children myself. So it's not like the old days where you had 12.
Four's a lot nowadays.
Four is a lot. Four is a
We had, I grew up in Battleground, Washington, where we had this religious, they were called Apostolic Lutherans.
okay.
And they didn't wear makeup and they had like sort of a panel. Uh, they had a lot of rules, but
Okay.
they had tons of kids, and the place is like just flooded with Apostolic Lutherans now. We call them bunheads.
But
You weren't supposed to, but we called them bunheads, and they had like now it's just overrun. They all run the businesses, and they just
okay.
taken over that area. But they would have like 12, 13 kids. It was
Yeah.
not. I mean, crazy amount of kids.
I think early history in Utah, my grandfather had 13 in his family,
Yeah.
two sets of twins. Uh,
Wow.
so that's pretty insane. But
Yeah.
now even four would be a lot
Right.
for now, even in Utah. They're, for the most part, you'll still see the occasional family has a lot of kids, but for the
Sure.
most part, it's like two or three at the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy expensive to have children
Yeah.
now.
How old are you, Justin?
52.
Oh, wow. You look good, dude.
Oh, thanks, man.
Dang. I had you way younger.
Well, even
52.
with the gray
Do
beard.
I look the gray's nice though, dude. That's yeah, you're looking hip. 52 years young. That's awesome. And four kiddos. Ages on the kids.
Yeah, so my daughter's 24. Her name's Brooke.
Oh,
We call her Brookie. Um, and she works for a tech company here in Utah. My son, Max, he's 22. He's at BYU right now, Brigham
okay.
University,
Yep.
studying finance. Uh,
Beautiful.
and then my next daughter,
You're
Izzy.
not gonna let him come into the business. Like, nice try, buddy.
I go back and forth.
You might not be so rigid.
Yeah, I've had him on some of my job sites and my girls, but they're very green. They've only done a little bit here and there, so I'm trying to push
Yeah.
them actually towards the plaster, to be honest.
My son has no clue what I do.
He
Like
has no.
he knows like there's these bottles and like
Okay,
he's put stickers on the bottles before. But
nice, but
like
he's not.
if he showed an interest, I would make him go work for a drywall outfit for like 6 months.
Oh wow,
Like
yeah,
he would not get to just come in.
he would just.
He would
You
need to
have to
learn dry.
earn the stripes, right?
Well,
Yeah,
he'd need to learn the trade, which I know people I could put him in touch with, but he would need to I think knowing drywall is a really powerful integral part of Fresco Harmony. I think
yeah,
it's not essential. DIY people can do it, but I think that there's something there.
yes, it does help. Like I can say it does help. So Izzy, she's 19. And then I have a son who's 13, Cole.
Cole.
Yeah,
All
Cole.
right. So pretty much Cole's the last one, or is Izzy there too?
Uh, they're they all well, Cole's here. Yep.
Okay.
Max and Izzy both have apartments, and then
Nice.
Brookie, my oldest, she's here with us right now. So, but
Okay.
for the most part, we're just down to Cole.
Yeah, yeah. She's pretty self-sufficient.
Yep. She's pretty.
And you're still married.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Beautiful. How long you been married?
28 years.
Excellent. Congratulations. So, you get out of college, you don't necessarily, well, you kind of want to you want to throw in with your dad. Your dad says no. Immediately start your own drywall company to compete with
Immediately
him.
start my own. I had, I had at that point, I had a couple of crews.
Thomas Brothers Part Two or something.
Part two. Yep. Now it's well, I brought it back to the original name, Thomas Drywall. I went back to my grandpa's original.
OG. I
I just
like it.
thought, look, I'm going with this. We'd been known in Utah as the drywall outfit, the drywall company. So I went back to the roots. When I broke off on my own, at that point I had a couple of crews with me. And
You had
so,
worked enough with your dad that you were comfortable taking on
oh
projects.
yeah, like when
He had shown you how to bid. Like so and you had the education, the business education. You were felt
yeah.
confident at that because you're what, 21, 22, maybe a little
Oh
older.
no, by that point, when I split off, I was probably in my early 30s by that point.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Because
What do you
I
mean
had,
split off? Did you work for them for a while?
well, he was gracious enough to allow me to start my own business, but still do houses for him when I didn't have my own
Sure.
house going.
Sure. He helped you
It
out.
kind of
Yeah.
helped me
Well,
out that way.
and it helped him out too. So
Yeah.
he would sub to you a little bit.
We were piece rate by that point. I had
Okay.
a couple of different crews. I was still on the tools at that point, but I had crews that I was running underneath me. Had my own. By that point, I'd purchased my own tools and would go out and do jobs. So I had a
Okay.
trailer full of tools and the whole
Yeah.
the whole caboodle.
You're a sharp guy. So you were subbing.
I was
uh,
subbing, and I had crews underneath me that were all, I guess, piece rate in a way.
okay.
And so then I got busy enough where, I'd landed a few key contracts where we were doing 3 to 4 homes a day. We were starting 3 to 4 homes a day.
Okay. That's
Uh,
quite a bit. How many people?
about 50 were working for me.
Pretty big.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
big. I picked up contracts with like the US government. I did probably 600 houses on the Hill Air Force Base. Uh, I did thousands of houses out in a town called Eagle Mountain, which is a development that I did a bunch of houses out there. So we were all over the state of Utah at that point.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah,
Nice.
all the guys had their own tools.
Were you were bigger than Thomas Brothers?
At one point, yeah, I got pretty.
Yeah. Were they pretty big?
Yeah, I mean, at one point they had a lot of other contractors besides the ones that I had that they were doing track homes production work. So they were pretty big. I think they had probably 30, 40 people as well at
Okay.
some point.
Now, what happens at sort of, so I would imagine even at like 20 per people, you know, if you're starting three houses, in a given day, um, that's sort of the apex. That's as far as you can scale a drywall without starting to lose money, unless you go
Yeah.
commercial.
Yeah, which I do now. I have a commercial now. That's jumping forward a
Okay.
little bit here, but you begin to where you need to have what I would say superintendents or managers. I didn't have one. I had a patch guy that would work for me.
Right.
Got to the point where I was nearly needing to have a couple of guys out there just
Yeah.
keeping an eye on things because I was
Those are big
all
chunks. That's a big chunk of money.
massive drain because they're
Yeah.
not producing. So
Yeah.
like you said, at that point you become where you're tipping over to the potential of losing money, especially if you're doing track homes. Your profit is very like to the business is super thin on a track.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking about like how even on I mean, because you and I were speculating on it gets into the conversation of hang finish fresco, like the
Mhm.
potential of, and I've never ran a crew like that. I didn't have to. Like I knew it was a nightmare. Like, I don't, no, the other nightmare of developing a product is, you have to be insane to do that. But I love the challenge. But it's always occurred to me, like if I was a drywaller, I would be pitching hang finish fresco because of the profit margin. So you
Yep.
and I were talking about, okay, you get to a certain point, you're doing track houses, you got these crews running around, you got the patch guy out there doing patches, maybe he's on salary, and your profit margin on these houses like continues to get squeezed and squeezed and squeezed, and these guys are making like $500 a house.
Yes.
You're doing a bunch of houses, but like to me the amount of output and the return is just insane. Like, so maybe
It
that's
is.
a product of the industry not being savvy enough to raise their rates like intelligent people.
Well,
But it leaves
I,
a tremendous opportunity for Fresco Harmony on the
it,
table.
it does. A couple of thoughts on that. first of all, when you're down to $500, and you're right, it's roughly $500 per house profitability for a business. You make one small mistake and now you've lost you use 5 extra sheets of drywall or 10 extra sheets of drywall. Now you've lost your entire profit on that house. So
Right.
that becomes kind of scary. And then the second thing is it's the market that's driving it. It's the fact that there are drywall companies out there that push it that low. It's not that
Yeah.
people want to work for that low, really. I mean, I would
Well,
rather.
that's why I called them idiots.
Yeah.
Like
That's
on the whole, it's like
yeah.
we constantly preach like you need to raise your prices.
Yeah, but they don't. There's always somebody racing to the bottom to get the work.
Yeah.
So I don't now, I mean, I don't really do much on that level. But I do agree with you. The bringing in Fresco Harmony, those sorts of extra abilities to make money, then you're already on the job. Now your profit margin goes up considerably.
Well, you were talking specifically about plaster. Like you had, luckily, on this custom house that you're doing. I imagine too that you would segue into more of a custom arena because
Mhm.
there's more money in custom homes. You're on the job longer, and they might want like this, plaster accent wall. And even with the prices of, Jeremy's product or the complication of difficult plasters that are expensive, you still have plenty of profit margin to where it might offset the job $5,000 or whatever, and make, put some money in your pocket because you're on the job.
Yep, you definitely can increase your profit margin even just simply by doing a fireplace, a range hood, an accent wall.
Yeah.
Jeremy, he'll plaster entire houses. We're not to that level right now,
Well,
but
he was never a drywall guy.
he was never dry. He was a
He
painter.
doesn't he doesn't understand the drywall. Like
No.
that's a different animal. Like you've
Mhm.
got plaster people over here and you have drywall people over here. And then a middle, I mean, you kind of have painters, like they're a different animal too. But like all of the drywall people should learn plaster.
They really should because it's not or Fresco Harmony, which I guess is still in that realm of
Yeah,
plaster.
it's in the realm. It's just
So
easier.
it's not like if you already know the pressures of moving mud and how to form it and use the tools, it's so much easier for somebody that has drywall experience to do
Yeah.
plaster, Fresco Harmony, whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's not that far from, well, you've seen, I was sent you videos of our texture. Like the texture we do is basically Fresco Harmony minus well, it's what you're doing with Fresco Harmony minus the products.
Yeah. Yeah, the base
The
the
bit, the
your
color.
base coat.
Yeah.
Your base coat is basically
Is is
the
how you
texture.
apply your bait. Yeah, exactly. So it's right there.
And
Yeah.
that's like a unique texture to custom homes in Montana, like
Yep.
Colorado. They were doing that. Drywall Shorty does it a lot. She's doing the swirl with a pool trowel.
Yeah, we do most of our custom homes. Well, all of our custom homes here are either the what I call Holy Smooth, it's a hand texture, or it's level five. It's either or. So, and I would say mostly what we do is the Holy Smooth hand textured walls and ceilings. Back when I first had my business, it was all spray. It was all orange peel. It was super
Yeah.
ugly, but really
Yeah.
fast. On production, on track homes, you just spray
Well,
everything.
and the custom home builders think they're being really like next level by doing a hand texture. And it's like it's
Yeah,
still painted textured
it's
wall.
still.
There's nothing special about it.
Okay, so had my company going. It was great. We were doing very well. Uh, 50 plus employees all over the state of Utah. But then the economy, took a nosedive, early 2000s. And I was in business at that point. Um, I was able to kind of weather that storm for a while because I had government contracts. But probably around 2012, things in Utah still weren't getting better. So I made this crazy pivot out of drywall, which I think I mentioned to you. So I shut my company down. Well, didn't officially shut it down. I pivoted into tech sales. So I was working for here in Utah. We have a lot of tech companies that all over the state of Utah. So I started working for a tech company, but actually in the background still ran my drywall company. Um, so here I was, W-2 employee selling software uh, to large companies like L'Oreal and Yamaha and these, huge Fortune 500 companies. I was selling, tech software to them. But in the background running, I'm still a drywaller by night and a tech guy by the day. So I
Crazy.
had these crazy experiences where, I would be on a house with my guys doing some repairs, getting things going at night. The next morning, get up, put on my suit, fly to LA, go to downtown LA, and here I am pitching software in a mega skyscraper, trying to close a multi-million dollar software deal, still with drywall mud underneath my fingernails from the night before. So
Yeah.
it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Why would you want to pivot like that? I mean, was the intention to get out of drywall? You were done.
Well, initially it was to just try to survive. I didn't want to get out of drywall. I was like, look, I'm just going to try to sell software, try to do something so that I could survive. I mean, it was really like overnight around that time, construction just here in Utah shut down. It just,
Okay. All
uh,
right.
no building going on. I had actually gotten rid of most of my crews. I was back to doing the homes myself, and we still were not profitable.
Crazy. And
But
you've got 50, 50 employee bills, large house, couple
yeah,
of cars. Does the wife work? Does she do stuff?
at that point, she was, well, actually, she was working then. She has an education. She works in the medical industry, but she was, we had four kids, so she was
Yeah.
mom thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So you had like all this overhead that
I had massive overhead. I had four kids. I mean, my
yeah.
burn rate
Yeah.
was off the roof. So
Yeah.
uh, I said, look, I've got to go into something. And so I was here. I was selling software, um, which is a complete pivot from doing drywall, doing
Yeah.
construction. Well,
We could get heavy into like, the dynamics of why you chose tech and why you're savvy at it. But back to the drywall, you never left drywall.
well, I
And then
did.
you did.
Eventually, it became too hard. So I think I was double, I guess, double dipping. I was doing my drywall and tech for probably what, 3 years, 4 years. So
But
it was
you said the tech guys like found out about it. They didn't
so
like it.
so yeah, that's fast forwarding. So okay, so I shut down and then I was just doing tech for a number of years, probably about 8 to 10 years. Here I am doing just all tech, no drywall.
Okay.
But then probably about a year ago, just over a year ago, I decided, look, I want to start making a little extra money. I'm just going to do patches on the side myself. So I started doing,
There you go.
yeah, doing
That's
repair.
where drywallers go to retire.
Yeah,
The
where
pat
exactly.
the patch world.
The patch world. So I started doing that, and then that grew into me doing a house here and there. Then that, you know, all of a sudden overnight, my
Yeah.
entire business was back online.
Sucks you back in, man.
Sucks
You
me
knew
back in.
all those subs were ready to go.
Yep. But here I am still selling tech at that point. And so, as you said, here I am on a job site selling tech. So I'm on a Zoom call like we are here, uh,
Yeah.
doing tech, and there was scaffold in the background that broke my Zoom. I had a Zoom barrier.
You said somebody walked through. You had the Zoom barrier,
They
but somebody
pushed the
walked through.
they pushed the scaffold and it broke the Zoom barrier, and all of a
I
sudden,
wish I wish I had a video. If you could go back and find that interview where like one of your bozo employees like walks through like
yeah,
you're like trying to do a sales call. It's all loud. You got your headphones on. Hey, you
yeah,
guys, shut up.
it was pretty funny. I have pictures like where I've done selfies because where I'm sitting, in like my nice clothes in a construction site with my
Or
computer.
just the suit top.
Just the
You got your
top.
grubbies on underneath, and
Yep.
you just have the suit top.
Yeah, and the computer's stacked up on a box of mud, some mud. There's
Yeah, yeah.
mud, and I'm sitting in there on a bucket running a call while my guys are working around me.
That's awesome.
Crazy. So eventually I just said, look, I can't do this and shut it down, shut the tech down.
But
And now
instead of choosing to go double down on tech, you went back to the
I went
drywall.
back to drywall. It suits me more.
Yeah,
It's in my blood. I'm more
yeah.
comfortable doing it. I did quite well in the tech. I
I'll
went to
bet.
the they call it the President's Club, where if you do X number of sales, they take you on a special trip. I won all sorts of awards. I did pretty well in there, but it was just never deep down. It was never me. Like
Good for
I'm,
you.
I'm a contractor. Like
Yeah,
that's who I am.
yeah.
So yeah. So now I do,
Hey, if you were in tech, dude, we wouldn't be talking right now. You wouldn't be on the Drywall podcast, man.
no.
Keep those tech guys out of here.
Yep.
You would
It's
enjoy
just good.
talking. You'd enjoy talking with Greg Strebe if you listen to his episode. He worked for Amazon,
Okay.
but you guys have similar personalities.
I'll listen to that pod for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah. So now we do a lot of custom homes. We do commercial work. So I have steel stud framers that work for me. So we'll frame and we'll do the drywall. We do plastering. We do. We haven't gotten back into the track home world yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that.
So you
I'm
could you take the fresco concept and you only do fresco. You take that concept into the track house world, and you pitch them on hang finish fresco.
in no paint, just painting the trim.
Well, there's there's going to be a little bit of paint, so their painters got to be cool with that. Like you would have to have a conversation with the builder about the painting company and what their scope's going to be because it's going to change. But you as a drywaller, your scope, your profit margin instead of 500 on that house, it might
Yeah.
be 2,000. So now if you have a $2,000 profit or even more, really, like maybe a $3,000 profit on that on a house and you got 50 homes, well, that's something.
It's something, and it's also a unique different differentiator too
Because
for
it's a differentiator for the builder.
and for the builder. You're right. Like the builder,
Yeah.
look, we do these, Fresco Harmony walls.
Yeah.
So I have a customer right now who wants to do like gyms, like workout facilities, they do. Think about like a World's Gym.
Hmm.
That type of, it's like a little bit fancier gym where you can have there's like spas and different things inside there.
Dude, Crunch Fitness just opened up here. One of them opened. I was watching their marketing because I go to the Starbucks next to this Crunch Fitness. It was a Bed Bath and Beyond, and it sat for a while, and then Crunch Fitness moved in there. That place
Open.
is packed. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, I know I'm not a gym bro really. I get enough working out, being on construction sites, packing mud in and out. But so these guys, they want to do all these gyms. I think there's 5 or 6 gyms they want to do, and they're looking at doing full like plastered walls, potentially doing Fresco Harmony or some sort of plaster on their walls
Yeah.
to make themselves apart from the
Yeah,
competition.
we did a dark matter. There's a chain of CBD like weed stores, but
Okay.
they're all black, and we did the whole interior in Galtiero steel. That was a pretty good job. But there's a
Yeah.
series, and then they did like black on the floor. They like decked it out,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
it's a weed. It's like this high-end weed shop.
Okay.
Similar concept.
Similar. Yeah. Where that's their thing, right? That's what they're known for. That's their trademark or these
Yeah,
interesting specialty walls.
yeah,
So I've looked at that with this company, trying to figure out a way to smash those ones out. Because when you think about like how big a gym is, like that's
yeah.
a lot of
Footage.
walls.
I would
Or
do probably do a match paint coming down, and then maybe, like you've got wainscoting behind you,
mm,
something that's durable because a lot of it's going to be mirror down
yep.
low. And
And they
then above that you could do a beautiful
you could do
fresco harmony, like, whatever, you
right,
know.
right. And they want to do like arch features just to sort of
Yeah.
set it apart, maybe plaster inside the arch and paint the
Yeah.
outside. Kind of like some of those things you have on your Instagram where you've
Yeah.
plastered the side of the arch, but the outside of the arch just remains painted, or you do two different colors,
Yep. Yep.
something like that.
Fascinating. So that brings us up to speed. You go, so I guess though, when this building, your business post tech starts to maybe diversify a little bit, you're doing maybe more commercial. You probably restructured a little bit to be more streamlined, less track house, more custom and commercial. And you decide you want to also throw some plaster into the mix. How long ago was that you went and did the training with Jeremy?
So I met with Jeremy back in October is when I went and learned how to do,
Recent. That's
yes.
recent. Oh,
Yep.
wow.
So I learned
Okay.
how to do the Cadillac, but I've known how to do plaster before that. Not
Okay.
not Jeremy's style of Cadillac. I've done plaster all along, just
Okay.
not this type of plaster.
Sure. Well, what I appreciate about you is that you're very thorough. Like you and I, like out of the gate, we had like a 2 hour conversation, but like, you had tons of questions. And then going through the fresco process, you're like, am I doing it right? Does this look good? This doesn't look right to me. The color, maybe it's not right. Like, like you're, and I'm always like, well, just do it, dude. It looks fine. Like, you know how to do it.
It's just
It's
mud,
fine.
man.
Yeah, it's just mud. Throw it up on the wall. The messier, the better. Like all of that stuff. But
Yeah,
you've taken to it, and now you've got sort of you have an idea of how it goes. You haven't sealed yet, though, right?
I sealed some samples or
Just the
a sample,
samples.
but I've not sealed. Today I'm going to go seal that wall that I showed
Okay.
you.
Hopefully that's like, sometimes when people get to the sealer part, that's that drives it home. It's like, oh, okay, they get it at that point.
Yeah, that's what's going to be interesting to see on the full wall how it seals. It's similar
Yep.
to like I've got this right here, Jeremy's soap. So
Yeah, yeah.
you put that on as the final layer, and it allows like with your sealer, it allows you to kind of fine tune and balance the wall. So I'm
I
excited.
feel like you could do the top coat and then use that soap over the top of that.
Soap. So it's I don't know if I've shown it to you, but it's
Cool.
it's concentrating. You make this watery actually. You put his soap into water and then trowel it on. So for fresco, I don't know. It might be too watery. It might damage the mud.
Well, that's where you put the sealer on. That's your
Oh, and then
barrier.
soap it. Yeah, if
And
you could
then
do that.
then that locks it in. So if I'm using like a urethane or something really strong, like a concrete sealer over fresco, I'll do 2 coats of the top coat and then I'll do my,
Yeah. Yeah, I
hard.
should try soaping some samples. He also has a wax that we use on mainly for the Cadillac showers. He'll wax that in a
Yeah.
that
That would
he
be for like your gym, like to
yeah
make those walls like really pop.
really yeah and more durable.
Yeah.
Uh, the wax in the Cadillac is an important step to help make it. It's waterproof without the soap, but I'm sorry, without the wax, but the wax just makes it a little more durable. Makes the water bead up a little bit better. But it is
Cool.
waterproof. As soon as you've gone through Jeremy's process, it's water. It's I wouldn't say waterproof, water resistant.
You have it in your shower at your
I
house.
do.
Yeah, it
Yep.
looks really
So
great.
yeah, I've not done Cadillac for a client yet. I've done plenty of plaster for clients, but I've just done it in my shower.
Very
It's quite
cool.
the process, I will say that. It's hard.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's pretty typical. The challenges with plaster is the complication and the costs.
Mhm.
Where Fresco Harmony is easier and more affordable, but maybe a little softer. It's a different animal. They're really different. Where I
Sure.
really like the micro cement, the Tadlac in the shower concept or the bathroom. But like if you want the rest of your house, then use something affordable and simple, that your guys can do. You said your guys like, oh, maybe this is something I could train like, one of the crews. Your
Yeah,
your texture dudes.
yeah, because we're not that far from
Right.
I think I almost think I could. Well, and I don't really have texture dudes. That my dudes do it all. They do the
Okay.
they do the full finishing, and then they apply the texture. So, but still, to your point, it wouldn't be that hard to teach them how to do fresco because it's very similar to what we're already doing, at least the
Yeah.
basic.
Well,
Uh,
and there's a sort of a sales funnel, that people like you, they're like, "Oh, I found out about you," send you a free sample pack. You try it out, make a sample, and then like, do a wall in your house, or a house, which you're doing. You're doing a full wall.
mhm.
And so each step you get a little bit more confident and understanding of like what's going on. We're just coloring the mud. It's three
We're just
coats.
Yep.
That's it.
It's not that complex. I am as a very much a perfectionist. So I did have to kind of push away from that on the base coat because I want to make it
Yeah.
nice and smooth and pretty, but it doesn't work great for fresco
Right. Right.
like that. So there's a little bit of de-learning that needs to happen.
Yeah.
I was messing with it, but
But that can also be challenging with like the Tadlac too, because there's so many steps and it's so intricate, it's hard to stay focused on doing it properly. Because if you miss a step, it screws it up. So now you're like sort of conditioned to to be nervous. And I'm like, no, 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 you could let all that go.
just let it go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cadillac it's absolutely beautiful. I love my shower. I love how it turned out.
Yeah.
But it's pretty intense. And to be fair, I on some parts of my shower actually overworked it as well. I sent Jeremy some pictures and he's like, "Oh, you again overworked that area." That's
Hmm.
always been my thing, even in drywall. It's just taking it too far, overworking it, trying to make it look too good and not stopping.
Yeah. But I also love the willingness to learn, and you're out there, you're sort of in the game, and you're taking on these new mediums and learning some new stuff, which ultimately will create better profit margins for you in the future.
It definitely does, and it's also really fun. You and I were talking about this the other day, how it's a fun product to apply.
Yeah,
It's artistic, it's creative. There is that outlet, that itch you can scratch per se. So
yeah,
instead of just doing boring walls, you
yeah,
get the ability to kind of bring out that artistic side, and it's kind of enjoyable. I love to
yeah,
just put some tunes on and plaster a wall, plaster a range hood. Like it's super
yeah,
fun.
yeah. And it's pretty fast. You can get that sort of that reward pretty quickly. Uh,
Sure.
couple days.
Yeah, and then you step back and you look at it, and it's oh wow, like it is very rewarding.
Yeah.
Um,
And
for me,
hopefully the homeowners like it.
yeah, we'll see. Like I'll put that seal in on it today, and we'll see if they like it. It was a good one. They're a pretty chill homeowner,
Yeah.
so it's a
Have they
good.
been checking it out?
Yeah, yeah. He's looking
Oh,
at it
okay.
today. I said, look, go look at it and see if we're good. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So far they've been happy.
They're digging it. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so that's the only one I've done so far in Fresco. I have interest from other clients as well. I think I sent you some pictures or a video,
Yeah.
a couple other
Yeah.
jobs I'm looking
We'll
at.
keep walking you down the path. I see I see Justin doing this production home concept, because it would make it worthwhile to do production homes if you could attach this possibility. It hasn't been done yet. At this point it's a theory, but I've
Mhm.
done it with custom home builders that have done multiple houses, and they like it.
I
So if
don't.
you pitch it, you're a salesperson, you sold tech. If you pitch it like you are going to be the first builder in Utah, or nay, I say the nation, to do a bunch of homes with a plaster finish at an affordable price.
I
That's the
think
pitch.
I think there's definitely a pitch there. And the other
Yeah.
one that I've been toying with in my mind is so I also work for a lot of restoration companies where we'll go in and just finish a room, or they'll restore a wall, maybe some water damage, something like that. And when you're working in people's homes, or maybe an addition, right? You'll also do additions. And when you're working in a home that people live in, I think one of the hardest things when it comes to drywall is managing the dust, like trying to keep the dust away from destroying their stuff that's there.
Totally.
You can run those zip walls and plastic all day long, but it still finds a way to get in there and
Yeah.
mess up their
Yeah.
house.
Yeah. No dust.
What's interesting for me with Fresco is, if you are a very accomplished drywaller and you can do your coating and not have to really, I don't really have to sand until I get to sanding my texture. Well, with Fresco, you really wouldn't have to sand. You might need to just do like some light scraping before you apply the Fresco. You put the
Hmm.
Fresco on and you seal it, no sanding, no dust, no, destroying someone's home with dust. So
Right.
it's something I've thought about as well for people. Hey, you're finishing your basement. Let us do Fresco Harmony instead of you painting it because, if we sand our texture, we're going to dust out your house.
Totally. Totally. I think about it when like people are skimming out texture. Like so
Yep.
here they want to cover up the texture. It's like, oh, well, you're gonna pay the same price anyways as the fresco, and you're gonna have dust everywhere. And I'll
Yep.
ask, and people that have done it that way, I'll be like, you probably had dust all. They were like, we were cleaning dust for months, you
Yeah.
know,
It gets
like
everywhere. There's
it
no
gets
way to
everywhere.
stop that. And I think we get a lot of these homes here in Utah that are older that were the spray texture, the orange peel.
Yeah,
And they'll ask us, hey, can you come and skim our walls and then put
yeah.
your hand texture on, which we
Or
can.
they'll sand the texture.
And yeah, and then it's just this massive mess. Well, Fresco, what I like about that is we just smash the mud on the wall with Fresco, put
Yeah,
another coat on, seal it, we're done. They come
yeah.
with the paint your base and your doors and different things, but other than that, you're done. That's really interesting to me.
Pearl of wisdom. It's time.
Pearl of wisdom. I think uh, if you're wanting to open a business, start something, just go for it. I think like with this plaster with me, uh, you just jump in and try it. Just go for it. So whether it's you want to pick up a different business, you want to pick up a different hobby, whatever it is, don't wait around. Just jump in and figure it out, and you'll figure it out as you go along. I think a lot of times people just kind of will sit back because they're too afraid to start. Oh, what if I screw up? What if I do it wrong? And the only way to really get past that is just do it.
Yeah,
Go for it.
yeah.
All the pivots I've done
Fantastic.
in life, I've made so many different pivots in my life, going from construction to tech to plaster to so on and so forth. All major pivots, and yeah, it was scary and hard in the beginning, but you just go for it.
I love it. Justin Thomas Drywall out of Highland, Utah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the Drywall Podcast today. We have a lot more conversations in the future to have. Yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day, man.
Hey, back at you, Nick. Thanks for having me on, and it's been a great conversation.
We'll talk soon, sir. And is there, if you want to catch Justin on Instagram, what's your handle there?
I think it's Drywall, Thomas Drywall. I mean, I'm gonna have to look. Um, Thomas Drywall and Plaster, all one word. Thomas Drywall and Plaster.
Cool. Go check him out on Instagram. Are you on Facebook?
No, I am not on Facebook. I do have a LinkedIn account though
Okay.
for
I'll have to
myself.
follow you on
It's just my
LinkedIn.
name. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right, sir. Well,
Okay,
I
my
hope
friend.
this was fantastic. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon, man.
Okay. Talk soon.
All right, buddy. Later. Shout out to Justin for being with us on today's episode of the Drywall Podcast. I appreciate your time and your knowledge, and I look forward to catching up with you very soon about Fresco and all the cool stuff you are up to. I would also like to give a shout out to our sponsor for the month of March on the Drywall Podcast, Can-Am Tools. This episode and all of the episodes in March were sponsored by Can-Am Tool. Over 50 years of semi-automatic finishing tools made in Canada and trusted by pros all over the world. If today's episode got you thinking about your toolkit, maybe it's time to take a look at what Can-Am offers. And if you run a supply house or a tool dealership and you're looking for a proven brand with a loyal following to add to your line, Can-Am wants to hear from you too. Check them out at canamtool.com and tell them Nick from the Drywall Podcast sent you. You have a plethora of options to choose from when you head over to the radio to listen to something, whether you are on the job or maybe you're on the way to work or maybe you're coming home from work. Today, you chose the Drywall Podcast, and I appreciate you for that. It's because of sponsors like Can-Am and listeners just like you that I get to have this podcast interview people like Justin Thomas, and I get to interview people like Kevin Cost of a new product called Mud Plugs that is hitting the airwaves and maybe causing a little bit of attention. Join us next week to hear Kevin's story about these cool mud plugs. But until then, I hope you all have a fantastic week or weekend or whatever you're heading into. And remember, keep drywalling.